I think Gurudutt instinctively understands that. He delves into psyches, into characters, they become metaphors. So, I mean, I identify with Meena Kumari in many other ways, you know, I mean, when I see her not just as anyone trapped in a situation not of their own making. Of wanting to get out, of being in an oppressive, so it becomes even a metaphor for an oppressive. That's the great thing about great cinema, no? Or great poetry. It arouses things not directly in you, but many things, you know. So I don't know, I mean, it's a women, all his characters, including his women. I mean, Rahman, for example, there's a counterpoint from Sahabi Ghulam. You see Meena Kumari, but you also see Rahman. But you don't despise him. He's equally trapped in whoever he is, his being, his feudalism, his ideas. Because after all, we are all accidents. And I think Gurudutt also instinctively, people trapped in this world, like, you know, so he's looking at them, different people, you know, and their predicaments, you know, and out of that, but there is a story and they are in conflict, and they must be in conflict, and he has to be in someone's side. So he's on the side of the marginalized, the poet. He's on the side of it's not that he's neutral in a sense. Just because he can understand the other doesn't mean he's neutral. But he's, in a sense, the world is so beautifully described that then that predicament becomes even more, you know, it's very deep, what he arouses in you, in a sense, and it's an experience you can't intellectualize. I don't think you should intellectualize Gurudutt that much.
Well, thank you
he's
so
an
much,
experience,
yes.
and he's only possible in cinema.
Absolutely.
Gurudutt is the one, you have to experience Gurudutt.
I agree with you, and if you are at this point somebody in this hall who hasn't yet, then this is going to be amazing for you, because all these films are going to be in the theatre this weekend. Javed Sahab, I have always wanted to ask you this, and I'm so happy we're doing this today. You know, way back in the 50s, he was able to make a film or have a character that was a poet. And just to show us, you know, the trappings of being a poet, aaj ke zamane mein, and I'm going to contextualize it, I don't know if we're brave enough to have a lead character be the poet and then have all of these inner workings of his mind actually play out on the big screen. What was that for you like? And did that poet ever influence you or your poetry?
Well, that poet was Sahir, the songs, and they were a very important part of the film. But let me go back a little, what we were talking about. You know what happens? That there are certain things which are not done in art on conscious level, and they should not be done. Good art doesn't happen only on conscious level. It is an exercise in paradox. You see, any art, whether it is filmmaking, whether it's poetry, whether music, whether writing a short story, novel, whatever, or a symphony. On one hand, you need passion, imagination, fantasy, romance. On the other hand, you need something which is totally contrary, which moves exactly in the opposite direction, that is craft, which is calculated, which is mathematical, which is surgical. And you use both the things together. It's a paradox. Art is created in this paradox. So many times things happen, things are written, poems are written, novels are written, films are made, and then when people see that, they say, he empowered women. He had a soft corner for the poor people. You see, he was broad-minded enough to stand up for people who have different sexual inclinations, and blah, blah, blah. But the fact is that the filmmaker had not made this on the conscious level. It is deep somewhere in his subconscious, his sense of morality, his sense of aesthetics, his sense of decency, his sense of justice, which works. If you do it on conscious level, it will be propaganda. You will know that this is a theory, not the feeling. This is calculated. You are making a statement. Art should not make a statement. The reader or the listener should find the statement in it. Nice. Artist should not do it. Artist should do what he feels or she feels is right. And this work is created not on conscious level totally. Like countries, there is a no man's land between the conscious mind and subconscious mind. Ultimately, good art is created at that no man's land. When he was making films, he was not conscious, I'm sure, and it shows that now I am empowering this character. Now she should have dignity. No, it was coming naturally because that was his aesthetics, that was his sense of decency, that was his sense of morality. On unconscious level, we have experienced this in our limited, humble career, that people say, you know, that angry young man was the voice of that. We had no idea. We had no idea that this angry young man that we are writing in early 70s had anything to do with the emergency or people's lack of confidence of institutions, and that is why this vigilante is appearing in a script. No, we were just writing a script. And I'm happy that we did not know. And I hope that Gurudutt also did not know many things which we see in his films. Because if you know, then you are looking at the society and the audience from outside. If you don't know and you are breathing the same air, your aesthetics, your feeling is in sync with the society in which you are living. And that is better, that is advisable. That if we know, then we are relying more on our craft. We don't know our fantasies, and that is how it ought to be. Another thing I would like to say, you see, nowadays we go to New Zealand, we go to Swaziland, we go to Switzerland for good locations, good sets, good costumes. Gurudutt was not dependent on that. The beauty in his case lied his own eyes. I'll give you an example. Now look at this theatre. It's not a very cinematic place. I mean, if you want to picturize a song which is 6-7 minutes long, this is the last place you should shoot that song. But Gurudutt saw a lot of visual in this auditorium. ये दुनिया अगर मिल भी जाए तो क्या है? Is a long song with almost similar stanzas after stanzas and after stanzas. And it's shot in auditorium. From there, he is standing crucified at the door. And then he enters. And the breaks are not in the set, but in the lighting. How he could shoot a song which we'll never forget on a bed. न जाओ सैया छुपा छुड़ा के भैया. 90% song was on the bed. And ultimately, Meena Kumari was graceful enough to get off the bed. That's all. That's all. And it is one of the finest picturized songs. So we lack somewhere inside, we try to find outside. Gurudutt was not dependent on locations ever. Gurudutt's visual, his frame used to make the location. Name any other director, even today, who can do that. He has taught us so much that we will take generations to learn that. There is no doubt about it. I mean, his songs, ये दुनिया अगर मिल भी जाए तो क्या है? जिन्हें नाज है हिंद पर वो कहाँ है? They are not great melodies. They are straight songs. And each of these songs had at least 6 or 7 stanzas. Can you imagine holding a song with a kind of monotony in the tune, if I may say so? Perhaps I am not finding the better word because of my modest English, but the fact is that it is not a great musical item. How it is holding? It is holding because the director is feeling the song. He is making the song as a part of your conscience. I have not seen many people doing that. He was really unusual. He was still, we are talking about, I mean, I'm feeling like some kind of an old historical relic here, because I mean somebody tells me that he discovered Dilip Kumar because of me, and then I come to know.
I discovered it because he's not alive.
But now you have discovered Gurudat, you have discovered Dilip Kumar, you must go to USA also. So,
Where must I go?
USA, but they discovered that also. So the fact is that the technology has reached from somewhere to somewhere. No need to go into details. Technique, technical facilities, special effects, and at the same time we are miles and miles behind him. I mean, when will we reach somewhere near him? I don't know.
Thank you, Javed Sahab. Thank you so much.
I just wanted to add to what Javed Saab said. You know, Gurudat's films, remarkably, the principal performances were never great. Like Gurudat himself, I don't think, this is my personal unpopular opinion, not a great actor, but the craft, the overall cinema of that moment was stronger. It was not dependent on that one central performance. It was all the elements of cinema coming together, lighting, framing, the way scenes were staged. That entire, so when you talk about craft, you know, we often say that performance acha nahi hai. You don't notice that because the cinematic experience itself is so powerful that it overpowers his own inadequacy as an actor. So you remember that frame. ये दुनिया अगर मिल भी जाए तो क्या है, standing like Jesus Christ. But I mean, as an actor, I found him fairly blank. If I look at him, I don't need to, because everything else in that is so complete.
Sir, now I'm taking advantage of my age because I know many more things. Gurudat, when the script of Pyasa was written, although I have not met him, but I knew many people who were very close to him, like Abrar Alvi, like Sahir Saab, like Kafi Saab, who wrote for. So I know many incidents. And Gurudat studio and Kamal studio were in the same compound. And I have slept in Kamal studio for 2-3 years. So people who were working with Gurudat, I knew them, their team and everybody. Besides that, people who were senior assistants of Kamal Muluri, they also knew Gurudat very well. So I had many sources to know about him, and I was interested. When Pyasa, the script was written, Gurudat went to Dilip Saab. And he said, this is the script, I want you to play this role. Dilip Saab heard the script and he said, now, you see, I have recently worked in a film which has same kind of a triangle, Chandramukhi and Paru and Devdas. So it's almost similar triangle, so it will look very similar. And refused. He went back. He cast himself. He made 7 reels of that film and then went back to Dilip Kumar. And he said, you see these 7 reels, this role belongs to you. Because you said no, I did it, but even now, when you are looking at these 7 reels, if you feel, I'll scrap this and we'll make it again. Dilip Saab said, but no, it is not practical because अभी मेरा तो प्राइस अलग होता है, तो अब उसमें कैसे आप एडजस्ट करेंगे? He said, that's not the problem. मैंने अपने को भी कास्ट करके जितने में बेचा उसमें आपका प्राइस आ जाएगा, वो प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. But I genuinely feel that it is your role. But he did not do it. And Dilip Saab once told me that he repents 2-3 films that he refused. Baiju Babra was offered to him and he did not do it because perhaps he could not understand the intensity. And Pyasa. And third, I'm very shyly saying Zanjeer.
Sorry, I'm just going to take a second and मुझे ताजुब हो रहा है इस वक्त के वहाँ पर इससे ज़्यादा दिलचस्प क्या ही बातें हो सकती हैं. तो मेरी ये दरख्वास्त होगी कि जहाँ से whispers आ रही हैं थोड़ा सा इज्जत हमें नवाजें प्लीज, बिकॉज आई एम श्योर योर कॉन्वर्जेशन इज नॉट एज इंटरेस्टिंग एज आवर कॉन्वर्जेशन. ये बात मैं आपको कह सकती हूँ गारंटी से. बाद में इत्मीनान से बातें कीजिएगा. हम जोर से बोले. एक्चुअली अगर थोड़ी सी फुसफुसाहट कम हो जाएगी तो maybe you'll listen to us. Can you hear us, guys? This row. Sorry, sir. You can hear us?
The volume, maybe it was my mistake. I kept
थोड़ा
the
सा वो
mic
mic
away.
नीचे था.
But don't worry, you have not missed much.
Yes, thank you so much. Back to you, Balki sir. I want to ask you one thing. You know, in Chup, you talk about how the burden of criticism destroys Guru Dutt. I often wondered after watching your film that if Guru Dutt was here today और वो आज की criticism देखते तो क्या वो इस दौर को survive कर पाते? तो मुझे आपसे पूछना है कि क्या ये ख्याल जो है, did it cross your mind when you were writing that film?
Yeah, actually, many things crossed my mind besides that. To me, actually, Guru Dutt, you know, we live in an era where resilience is more celebrated than sensitivity. You know, I always find we talk of the resilient and not the sensitive. And the gap between the two, with a bit of human effort, is a lot of luck. You know, sensitivity can become resilience with a little bit of luck. But sensitivity, if not supported by that luck, goes down a hell of a lot. And as artists, you know, as the most sensitive artists, it is very surprising how the most sensitive, all of us have gone through that stuff. We pick that out. We love to celebrate a person who's fallen and come up. We never love to celebrate a person who's fallen and the sensitivity behind that fall. And Guru Dutt to me is an epitome of sensitivity. I don't want to talk about his films because I'm not qualified to talk about the craft of any other person in the world because I've just made a film, Killing Critics, so I can't be one. But the fact of the matter is, to me as an artist, he inspires me to be actually, to just remember that sensitivity. It's very important sometimes to feel vulnerable, sometimes to kind of not be understood by many people, but you just know what you're doing. You just go on, go on. Today the pressure is a lot more on artists to kind of conform, to kind of do this, to look at these forces, look at that forces, because there are 1,000 people coming and telling you what you're doing is stupid. Okay, everybody's telling you. Now I'll give you a small thing which Madhu Mantena had put up yesterday, and I think it's one of the most beautiful things that I have read. This is something very true for all of us artists, and it's quite beautiful. Why? He says, let us always remember that a truly creative mind, abnormally, even inhumanly sensitive. To them, a touch is a blow, a sound is a noise, a misfortune is a tragedy, a joy is ecstasy, and failure feels like death. Add to this the strange, unknown, inward urgency to pour out creation, because they are not truly alive unless they're creating. Thing for all artists, and that's all an artist is. Everything else just happens to that person. And for Guru Dutt, it did happen a lot of times. It didn't happen once. And that once, actually, nobody can understand, nobody can explain that. But that one would have hurt so much. And that hurt is very beautiful because for an artist like me, I actually celebrate that hurt. I actually want to just hold on to that stuff. And that's all I did in Chup. I just said, what if that person, what if today he didn't go deep into himself and kind of destroy himself, but instead decided to kind of destroy somebody else who'd caused him that hurt. An artist can also do that. Why can't he do that? So to me, Guru Dutt is an inspirational artist. The heart of Guru Dutt is what I love. I mean, it's all over his films, but more I watch his films, I always look at that vulnerability of the filmmaker. I never look at craft in a film. I always look at the feel in a film, and I just don't want to process it, don't want to add words to it, but I just want to feel that vulnerable feeling of a person who's trying to kind of just pour out his heart.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for sharing. Javed Saab.
I'll say that Guru Dutt ji was like a hero of a Shakespearean tragedy. In all the tragedies of Shakespeare, have a hero who is perfect, who is exceptional, who is talented, who is victorious, he does everything fine. He has one weakness. In case of one, it was indecision, to be or not to be. In case of some Macbeth, it is ambition.